The Complete Natural Food Retailer's Workshop with Danny Wells, tape number 9. We went, wasn't that expensive to have all of our compressors brought outside. It makes it very quiet. And then again, your utility costs drop dramatically because they're better circulated and it's not throwing all that hot air out of the box into your store. Uniformity in your logos, signs, aprons, cards, and ads. Whatever your logo is, decide that's going to be it. Not like the stores that have one logo on their sign. You come in the stores, another on their business cards, there's another one on their apron, there's another one on their advertising. One thing, uniformity, like it's been done on purpose, again, for a professional image. Keep it light. We're recommending in most stores full spectrum lighting. It costs more for Vitalites. But if you want to read a good book, which will probably make you tomorrow put Vitalite in, John Ott's Health and Light book will show you studies of how it's more healthful. You'll have less fatigue. Just generally, these are the best lights you can live under. And these cool white Vitalites, these cool white type of fluorescents are really drag you down. The day we change, we noticed a tremendous difference in our level of tiredness in the store when we went to Vitalites. It was amazing. One style of shelving, display units, and counters. If you just go through your store and think, okay, I'm going to systematically get rid of all these little tidbits of different, colors and shapes and sizes and antiques that I have in my store. One of the things that I have found that without spending a dime is you can do this, ask yourself this question. I have one client, she has 4 stores in Texas, and she says, Danny, anytime you're in town, I have a standing order for you just to come in, walk through my stores, and ask me what I can do to improve my business. And 90% of the time it's, Marty, that plant died 2 weeks ago, get it out of here. That poster is a product you no longer carry, it's gone. That display unit has been around too long. It's what I can take away from my store to improve it. And many times when we get rid of these old antiques and a lot of old stuff, we can almost make our store look like it's had a major renovation. Now, if we're going to get into a renovation, where we can start, which is low budget, obviously, you can come in if you've got darker walls, you've got 7 different colors, for very little money you can come through and paint it light. If you have a situation where you can't afford to come in and put brand new shelves in, and you've got these real deep shelves which makes it impossible to merchandise off of because you've got 2 bottles on the end and 17 inches of daylight and dust, then you can come in, and we have done that, taken off a wood shelf and bring in the table saw and rip them down and take all the wall units that were out to 18 inches and bring them back to 12 inches and do it, a weekend at a time. You can also oak trim or whatever, a colored trim facing, because if you have really old dilapidated shelves, if you're properly merchandising, then only the product and the front edge is really all you should really see. So even if the rest of your shelf is in bad shape, you can come in and put a nice oak strip on the front or a new colored Formica strip on the front and redo the entire facing the front of the store. Very little money, but looks like you have done a brand new shelf unit. Remove your antiques. This doesn't mean the real antiques, the ones you paid for that are for decor. This means the old Mill Creek units that's still there after 9 years that needs to get out of the shelf. Tightening your shelf sets will give you the appearance of a remodel. That alone. In the Advanced Workshop, we show some slides of this of some stores that have the big gaps in their shelves, and just by tightening the gaps, customers think, hey, you've remodeled in here. And a very common error that I see in a lot of stores we go in is front-end barriers. New design is what we call the open design. When you walk into a store, you ought to be able to feel like you're being pulled in the store. You ought to be able to see a lot of the store. Generally, the new design is gondolas are lower profiled. You build the walls up higher. And how many stores we come into now, as soon as you come in, you've got a visual block. You build up some big display unit right here, and customers can't see anything. They can't see the entire store. And you get around these big boulders, and there are these big blocks, whether they're display units or counters or whatever they are. But when you get in your store, you want to have an open feeling so people can see more of your store. So if you're the type of store that has these barriers around, think of where they can be moved. Some people have these big spinning herb racks as soon as you come in the store, like right here. They belong off to the sides, to the back, so that you're not coming in and having a visual block of all this merchandise with this big barrier there. There are 2 types of store layouts. Or I should say not 2 types. There's several types, but we have in our stores what we call the traditional layout, which is having your doors and then your gondolas either horizontal or vertically placed, and your wall units around and your refrigeration like this. And a newer concept in this is what we call the loop design. Now, this is a large store, so let me take it down to about half to give you an idea of how this looks and how it works. Is that by you enter in the center, you put your checkout in maybe a horseshoe in the center of the store, and you have smaller angled gondolas off what we call the drive line or the walk line, and then your shelving units on the side. By doing this, you increase your end cap visibility and number by 30%. And you are able to, because we know the end caps and K-stacks are where we're selling more product, and people shop more of the store. We find this out by doing what we call pencil tracking. Take a particular store, and it's got a traditional layout with gondolas like this, and say this is the typical layout in the store. And here's the door. A pencil tracking, you got somebody sitting here in the corner, and they've got a layout of your store in there on a clipboard, and the customer comes in, they follow them with a pencil. They went here, 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 and so here's your checkout counter, and they checked that one out. Next person came in here, shopped here, here, went down. At the end of the day, you've got mass of all these pencils, but you're going to find some pockets of where people haven't shopped in your store. Now, if you go to the loop design, you'll find that when you're laying out your store and you still got your door here and you got your cash register here, and you're forcing people to come down by and you have your angled gondolas like this possibly, and your wall units there, refrigeration in back, then do pencil track. You'll find that people come in and they'll walk more of the store. They're forced to come through and see more of the store, and since these gondolas units are shorter, it's easier for them to come in and take it, look at that. Some of us have these long gondolas and these aisles, and people go walking down the shop, and it's like dark at the end there. Is it a bowling alley or something? I don't know if I want to go down there. I don't know if I can get back. No, forget it. I'm not going to go down that aisle. So people won't take those long walks down these aisles where they will see the small, shorter gondola units, and they'll shop faster. So I'm not saying every store has to use this type of layout, but if you are looking for remodeling your store, the loop design is something that you may want to consider. Another thing that can boost your sales, believe it or not, is appropriate music. Studies have shown that playing the appropriate music in your store, you can increase your sales. In fact, in California, there was a study that showed they had a 10% increase in sales. A customer will stay longer, a customer will buy more if the appropriate music is playing. There's nothing worse than going into a small store and being the only one in the store as a consumer. And it is so quiet that you don't want to stay there that long. So you leave. As soon as music is turned on in the store is now filled, and you will stay longer and shop. If you do not have music in your store, you should consider adding it, and the appropriate type of music. Now, the type that we use, and the studies have shown that this is the type that works in our particular industry, and I've done a lot of work on it. I'm a musician myself, and have done a lot of work and research on music, and we play a new age. Now, there's two types of new age music. We don't want you to play the new age music that is non-melodic, the type that where you're going to have all your customers over in the corner chanting their mantra, for a half hour. You don't want that sedative type of music being played. But there is a new age, non-vocal music that is upbeat, that has a melody to it, so that they're humming the melody, and they feel cheery and upbeat. There's a lot of classical music that will fall into this. I mean, people can shop all day to Pachelbel's Canon. I mean, they will stay in your store forever with that thing playing. But you want to make sure that if it's got vocal, then the vocal competes with what you're saying or competes with what their thoughts are. And if you're trying to explain to them the value of this product and you've got somebody in the back singing some words, then there's conflict going on. So if you're looking for the best, then try to get melodic, new age type of music. It's a type of a jazzy type of thing, but not really too strong. Then again, just saying classical, there's some classical that can drive you up the wall. That there is appropriate music out there, and it is better for you to have that playing than no music at all.
What kind of
We just use tape decks. I just use auto-reverse cassette decks that just go around, and that's it. Now, you can get into all kinds of talk about the trade and whether you can play this or not, and there's been some kind of test of whether you can play the music or not, but I mean, in actuality, the amount of people that have ever had somebody come down and say, we're going to get you for royalties on playing our music has been like, 0.5%. So.
take care of it directly?
Oh, well, if it's an auto-playing one, I mean, I technically went through and made my own because I was such a fanatic about it. I went through all the quote New Age tapes and picked out the best of all the songs that I liked that were really upbeat, that would make people shop, and I made a series of 8 tapes. They were 2 hours long. So we just popped the tape in and continued play auto-reverse. And so customers are all going to hear it for 10 minutes at a time or 20 minutes. So, I mean, once we ran through it maybe for an hour or two, we'd wind up doing... now there are some radio stations. I mean, the Bay Area, there's a radio station now that plays this with very little commercial, so we're actually just playing the radio station. So that's the way we work on that. Commandment number 9 is thou shalt grow. Again, if you're standing still, you're not going anywhere, and you have to look towards the future. And so it's nice to sit down and think, now where am I going to be in 1, in 3, or 5 years with my current growth rate? Some of us aren't planning ahead, and all of a sudden it's like, they'll call me up, my lease is up, I'm out of space, I need to do something. Well, you knew this 3 or 4 years ago. It's, we don't wait to this point because I can tell you, you're not going to be in very good negotiating point with your landlord or a new place when you've only had 2 weeks left to negotiate. You want to be negotiating a lease at least a year in advance. A lot of landlords want you to negotiate your lease 3 months or a month in advance. They want to get you right up to the end, and they know they got you because you can't move in 30 days and build a brand new place. So we'll make sure in our leases that we can negotiate a new lease 1 year in advance, which gives us plenty of lead time so that we're negotiating not in a point of having to worry about leaving, but if this doesn't work out, hey, I've got a whole year here. If I don't get a good deal, I'll be looking someplace else. So it gives you some good negotiating power. Remember, 20% new products coming in each year is what your goal should be. Monitor your trends and establish an environment for healthy risk. All business is is risky. There's no doubt about it, it's all risky. But there are certain things that we should know as a general rule, and these are just general guidelines that I'll use with clients when we're looking for expanding, of when you put in certain departments. Frozen yogurt is not a natural food product, believe it or not. A natural food customer is not a frozen yogurt customer. A frozen yogurt customer is a person who is deciding whether he wants a frozen yogurt or a Baskin-Robbins ice cream. So the time to put in that is never. Lunch counter juice bar, the same type of thing. Unless you really love food service and it's just your whole life, then fine. But as far as from a financial standpoint and being good for the business, it's never. Bulk bins. We really don't even have to worry about putting bulk bins in. We can do a good job pre-packaging, putting baskets of stuff to get the bulk look until we're doing about 400,000. Organic produce, you usually, some stores can get by a little less, but usually you need about $500,000 a year in volume to support starting an organic produce setup. Because then there are enough people coming to your store, so when you put a rack up and put food on the rack, you can sell it and make a profit. If you have less than that, usually there aren't enough people in the store to warrant doing it. There are a few exceptions to this, but these are just generals. A deli, if you're doing about 1.5 million at least, then you may want to consider a deli at that point. Some stores are saying even 2 million for that before there's enough traffic generated to support a deli. Bakery, 2 million. Fresh meat and seafood, 3 million, but very, very carefully. You hear all the stories about all the fresh meat and seafood places opening, but you don't hear all the stories about them closing, and I don't have the time to tell you about that now. But there are 10,000 and 15,000 square foot stores that are closing meat departments left and right in this industry because generally meat trend is down. People are eating less meat, whether it's health, natural meat or not. Food service, on-site dining. Option A, sell store, become a restaurateur. Option B, convert corporation to a non-profit status. That's tongue-in-cheek, but obviously you either want to be a restaurateur or that's it. Yes? That's my work. You're not going to see it. That's my work based on the stores I work with. These are the numbers that I use when people want to. I'm a believer in healthy risk. I'm very careful when I'm working with somebody else's money. If someone else is going to open a store, I want to make sure it's going to work for them. So I'm very conservative that way. I want to make sure the numbers we're going to give you are correct. I don't want to have someone come in and have a projection that says, hey, you're going to be doing $1,500 a square foot, and you actually come up with $300 a square foot. And I want to make sure that when you put a department in, it's successful. So these, to me, seem to be the general. And then if I do a market analysis and find, hey, we can do produce when you're only doing $400,000, fine, we'll put it in. But I mean, this is a result of many stores that were doing $200,000 to $300,000 a year that tried organic produce that just blew it and are losing all kinds of money because the people aren't there. Yes, sir.
When you talk about the food service, like really, as long as you get the pre-made sandwiches where a bakery makes a sandwich, you might supply a meat alternative glass or whatever, and they're sold on the refrigerator cabinet and the pre-packed food.
Okay, well that's the way to go. I mean, when we got rid of our juice bar and our lunch counter, moved to our new location, we got everything pre-packed. There are companies now that are making pre-packed sandwiches and burritos and solar tacos they call them, and all kinds of little packaged salads and things for us. They bring them in. We're selling $400, $500, $600 a week of those things without doing any labor at all. Great. They bring it in and sell it. That's the way to go. To give you an idea of the future here, this is out of a supermarket grocery tabloid. Health tops new product traits. Out of all of the new products, health is the focus out of the supermarket. You'll find that cereals, soups, and cookies are all up. In general, merchandise, the strategy is to focus shoppers on special promotions and sharp pricing. That's what we were talking about, variable pricing. In health and beauty aids, the strategy is to fine-tune the market mix and increase efficiency with space management systems. What have we been talking about? Getting better space utilization, tightening up the shelf sets. This is what the focus is going to be outside of our industry, in the food industry. And also, just to let you know what else is coming in the future there, a couple things which are good. One is Cart TV. I don't know if you heard about this. I don't know if I'm saying it's good or not. It's kind of interesting. These are video cameras, video TVs that are right on your shopping cart. And as you go through the store, it trips the little sensor devices like, hey, right over here, there's a special. Look to your right, and there it is. And and if you want to bake this, these are all the ingredients that are right here on your left. Well, you laugh about that, but by putting them in, they had 20 to 30,000 more products bought as a result of shoppers coming through that were using those cart TVs. Camelback's new products with retailer refund. This program is about Campbell's introducing new products, and they have a guaranteed sale program now. Here's a manufacturer saying, when we introduce a new product, if it doesn't sell, we're going to take it back. You're going to see more of this happening because retailers are demanding more protection and more help with marketing a new product. Bringing us to commandment number 10, which is thou shalt rest, which is like the last slide of yesterday. That you need to take time out of business and spend time with people that are important to you, like your family. You need time for diversion, recreation, because if you don't, then your business will never be what it can, and your business will suffer from it. Too many people wind up getting so much tunnel vision, become workaholics, that they're not any good to themselves, or their family, or anyone. You get a tremendous renewed perspective after spending a day out at the beach and then coming back to your family, back to your store. Thou shalt rest. Again, the 10 Commandments are in order for a reason. They're not put up there in any particular jingle or order just to confuse you, but this is the order of primary importance. First of all, make sure you know that you're making money and that your financials are set up to tell you how much you're making or not making. Shoot to turn your inventory 12 times a year. Get your case stacks up. Make sure your store is properly faced. Compete by having variable prices, not by straight lining discounts. Then you start up your advertising program to get the people into your store. Your employees, if they're properly trained and you know how to delegate to them, they're going to be able to take a lot more off of your particular weight and shoulders. Make sure that you keep it clean and safe daily. Renovate when it's necessary. Grow and take your rest. I sincerely believe that anybody in this industry and everybody in this industry as a retailer has the power to get to heaven. Whatever your goals may be. Your goals might have been different than mine. I set some retailing heaven goals that we shared with you yesterday, and I was able to reach those, and I believe that everybody can. And we've had many people that have come through our seminars write us letters and say, hey, we took the information, this is what we did. I had one man just walk in today, said, I have an employee coming to your seminar here. I want to let you know, last year I came to your seminar. I had 60 things I was going to do. I did 59 of them. He said, my sales have doubled in 1 year. He said, it's a whole new store. I got rid of stuff, re-merchandise. He said, it works. I want to let you know that. We get that all the time. Study your handouts. Make a list of what you're going to do. Set goals. Share that with employees and have patience. I want you to take your page and go to number 4 and write down on number 4 something that you learned today from today's session that you're going to go back and put into action in your store. What is one thing that you are going to do, whatever it is, the things that we covered, from bottom line boosters to advertising to employees to renovating, stocking, facing, adding music, whatever it is. And write that down. And we've got a couple minutes before we close, and in one of those minutes, I'd like you to take and go to the person to the right or left of you and share just that last piece. You can share, actually you can share either 2, 3 or 4 with them. One thing you're going to do, share right now what you're actually going to do. Turn to the left or right. It's maybe hard for some of you, but I force you to do it. Share with them what you're going to do. This is what I'm going to go do. Share it. You got 1 minute. Well, it looks like you're having such a good time. I hate to interrupt, but I'm going to have to. Because I'd like to get the last word in. Actually, I probably won't. I'll still be talking to you, but I want you to think for a moment back to the time that you first opened your store We've covered a lot of issues in the last 2 days, and for those of you who continue on the advanced workshop, there'll be a lot more we'll be covering. And I know I move very fast, I talk fast, you have to listen fast. And so if there are any questions that you have that we didn't get to, there's going to be an open session tomorrow that's free that we'll be doing, and you can come in and ask any question on anything. We started this at the Anaheim show last year, and it worked out very well. I have no idea what you're going to ask, but all I do is share whatever I know. So if you have any question about natural food retailing and anything, we are doing that tomorrow. I think it's like from 10:45 to 11:45 or 10:30 to 11:45, something like that. And if you have further questions you don't want to share in an audience, that I will be at booth 801 throughout the show, and you're more than welcome to come up. Just identify yourself as a workshop attendee, and we'll offer free consulting to you for your own individual one-on-one problems, whatever that may be. And I want you to think back to when you first opened your store or first got into the business, and think about the reason that you opened that store for a moment. The reason, what made you open that store? And think about the way you first served, that first day or two, how you first served those customers. I mean, how those customers meant everything to you. I mean, you would do anything for them. I mean, you'd just do anything because you just wanted to make sure that this was a success. And think about that challenge that you had, what that challenge meant to you. And ask yourself, are those reasons still present in my business? Am I still here for the same reasons? Am I enjoying what I'm doing? Most of you here are enjoying what you're doing, but there's some people in this room that actually running a health food store is very hard, and they're not enjoying it. And I'm not saying that because I want to, end on this on a down note, but I want some people, as a consultant, I have to give some people the permission just to sell their store or to get out of the business because they're not cut out for that. 90% of the people here are cut out for it, 95% of them. And so if you love what you're doing, you still enjoy what you're doing because that's what really makes it worth it. If you enjoy getting up there and getting in that store and that challenge and meeting those customers, then you're going to take all this stuff and go back to you and you're going to make a tremendous change in your store. But if you don't and you're still fighting it and all this seems like just such an overwhelming thing, like I don't know what I'm going to do now, then maybe we're not enjoying this and maybe it's no longer fun and maybe it's time to move on. There is one power that you also have that we haven't discussed, and that's the power of visualization. There was a basketball team that had 30 players, and they took 10 of them and said, we want you to shoot baskets for 1 hour a day for 30 days. We found out what their free throw percentage was, what their percentage was from throwing the basket into the hoop from the line, and they took everybody's percentages, and they had one group that they shot baskets for 1 hour a day, 30 days. The second group, they said, we don't want you to get near a basketball hoop. We want you to sit down for 1 hour a day and visualize standing at the line and throwing the ball through the hoop. Just visualize it. And the third group, we don't want you to get near a hoop or think about basketball at all. Take the week, the month off, do nothing about basketball for 30 days. And they came back. Okay, the group that didn't do anything had no change in their basketball ability to throw hoops. No change from the free throw, zero. That didn't do a thing. The group that threw the free throw shots, that stood there every day and practiced, they had a 24% increase in their ability to throw the ball into the hoop successfully. The group that didn't go near a hoop and sat down and just visualized doing this 1 hour a day had a 23% increase in their ability to shoot the ball through the hoop. Now, we are out of time now, but you can, and we won't have the time to go through a visualization process, but all you need to do that is to basically close your eyes and to picture your store what you want. And spend a little bit of time each day just closing your eyes and picturing what you want and actually picturing that reality. Picturing your store the way it's supposed to be. Picturing the customers coming in, you selling the product. Picturing it faced the way it's supposed to be. This visualization will actually help you 25% to accomplish, or 23% to accomplish your goal. I've appreciated your attendance here. It's been great for me. I've learned from it. I hope you have, and I hope you have a great show. Thank you.
This tape will now continue with an outline of those services offered by Danny Wells and Associates and Weldon Enterprises. From over 20 years of successful retailing experience, Danny Wells has designed a complete and easy-to-grasp educational program for natural food retailers, which includes individual retail store consultations, group seminar presentations, and a custom monthly newsletter publication. Individual consultations. Developed primarily for the retailers of 1,000 to 5,000 square foot stores, This service is also being utilized by the larger store owners and managers to help increase sales, reduce expenses, and raise profits. Each consultation begins with the store owner or manager forwarding a completed preview consultation information form. This provides Danny with a written briefing so that he can familiarize himself with the store's current operation and sales history. Once in the store, he begins with an on-site evaluation. After his assessment of the operation is complete, he proceeds with the training, education, and recommendations for the owner, manager, and key employees. All subjects covered are prioritized in order to focus on those areas which will be most productive for the store, with special emphasis being placed on inventory control. This includes increasing inventory turns, introducing new products, successful marketing of products that are dated or poor sellers, and establishing ordering controls. Advertising, what works and what doesn't. Merchandising, the key to high volume. Employee management, employee interviews and evaluations. Organization and use of proper financial records. Marketing, your product mix and presentation. Variable pricing strategies. Improving store layout, decor, and consumer image. Remodeling or expansion needs. Site analysis evaluation for new location. Any other questions or areas of concern? Within 10 days of the visit, each store receives a written report reviewing the recommendations and techniques discussed during the consultation. Retailers are encouraged to read the report, making a list of those recommendations they want to incorporate into their retail operation. They are then asked to prioritize this list, set reasonable goals for completion, and then implement these plans into action. We keep a current confidential file for every store that Danny has worked with. At any time, a retailer can call for assistance. This makes it possible for us to give continued direction and support without the expense of additional on-site visits. Group seminar presentations. Group seminar presentations are available in two categories: the complete natural food retailer workshops and intensive training seminars by subject. The complete natural food retailer workshop 1. This workshop is a retailing from A to Z presentation for owners and employees of any size natural food store. In this seminar, retailers learn about proper procedures for successful natural food retailing with special emphasis on inventory control, increasing your inventory turns, most effective use of advertising dollars, how to market products for the best price image without going discount, developing proper ordering and receiving procedures, using case stacks and promotions for the small store, what is a healthy bottom line and how it is achieved, how to hire, train, and maintain a motivated staff, merchandising like the big guys on a small store budget, how to set up and maintain a correct set of financial reports to give you the information you need without being a slave to your books, decor, store, image guidelines for the best customer response, product mix and proper space allocation, bottom line boosters, how to stop giving away the store. This workshop includes over 100 overhead projected documents and 144 slides, and workbooks and audio tapes are available to accompany this workshop. The seminar is an 8-hour presentation, though it can be adapted to suit any organization's needs. Ideally presented in 2 days, 4 hours each session, with hourly breaks, it is often offered as a full-day seminar with lunch. Extensive use of overhead projector and impressive 144-slide presentation is incorporated into this fast-moving workshop. Having received the highest acclaim of all industry seminars, the Natural Food Workshop 1 is a must for new store owners and appropriate for all retailers who are not experiencing the sales growth or profits they would like. Store owners internationally have found it to be an extremely valuable training and motivational session for their staff. The Advanced Natural Food Retailer Workshop 2. This advanced workshop focuses on marketing natural foods in the 90s, a look at the cutting edge of what it will take to successfully produce and sell natural foods in the upcoming decade. Highlights include how to create and keep customers, achieving a memorable level of service, the difference between selling and helping people to buy, finding out what your customers want, results of the latest industry consumer surveys, and marketing trends of the 90s. Advertising in the 90s, expansion with healthy risk, how big do we get? Which departments are the biggest money losers? Includes a 100-slide before and after remodeling presentation. Developing your business plan. Location, how to conduct a retail site analysis. Lease negotiation guidelines to save you thousands. And how to value, buy, or sell a natural food store. Intensive training subjects. 1 to 3 hour workshops are specific on areas of natural food retailing are custom tailored to fit the needs of your group. They are commonly used for keynote addresses, employee training sessions, and convention or trade show presentations. Those areas available for more intensive seminars include advertising, developing your own store newsletter, merchandising, inventory control, employee management, mastering a better cash flow, when is it time to expand and how to do it correctly, how to appraise, prepare, and sell your business, how to value a business for sale or purchase, how to conduct a retail site analysis, the customer, your most important asset, and marketing natural foods in the 90s. These intensive seminars are similar to the presentations given at the NFM Expos, NNFA regional and national trade shows, and distributor-sponsored retailer educational programs. They are designed to delve thoroughly into each subject with ample time for group questions. Emphasis is placed on the participants' training and motivation being sufficient to assure implementation of the recommended procedures in their own business practices. The Custom Newsletter Service. We produce personalized monthly newsletters for natural food stores throughout the country and internationally. Complete with informative articles and attractive graphics, this newsletter is formatted to promote 4 to 6 different products each month. It is primarily developed for those stores who do not have the time, expertise, or budget to produce a newsletter of their own, but wish to project a professional image on a limited budget. Other stores, no longer wanting the burden of writing and producing their own newsletter, have replaced their publication with ours at considerable savings and with equal or better promotional results. For those who currently produce their own newsletter, monthly articles and graphics are available on computer diskette to incorporate into your own publication. Danny personally writes the articles as he would for his own store. A geographical area exclusive is provided for each newsletter account so that competing stores in the area cannot distribute the same monthly newsletter. Preview sheets of the next 2 months' newsletter articles are provided so that retailers can plan ahead for promotions and article product tie-ins. Off-site phone consultations. This consulting service is used by many retailers outside of California who desire assistance and recommendations for their business but cannot afford the travel expenses for an on-site visit. One can arrange for consultant time by the hour to acquire information which is most pertinent to their needs. New store openings or purchases. Here is a valuable service for those opening a new store, remodeling or purchasing an existing store, or just getting introduced into the industry. This is a very exciting and unique field. Enthusiasm and love for this industry often overshadow the importance of learning the valuable skills necessary to be a successful natural food retailer. The guidance provided here proves to guarantee better utilization of working capital, prevent incorrect opening orders, eliminate layout mistakes, establish inventory ordering and control procedures, prevent overpaying for an existing business, assist in transfer of ownership, reduce the chance of new business failure, determine the fair market value of a business, conduct site analysis for the best location, help determine what size store and number of departments will be best, and give complete assistance from lease negotiations to the grand opening. Selling your natural food store. Because this is a unique industry, the successful marketing of one's natural food store requires special attention. Having assisted several store owners in selling their businesses, as well as selling our own natural food stores, we have the experience to help other retailers determine the value of their business and realize a profitable and timely sale without paying expensive commissions. Learn how to determine a fair price for your business, prepare your store for sale, where to advertise your business for sale, organizing your records for a quick sale, structuring the terms to save taxes, and common business selling errors to avoid. Workbook and tapes. The workshops and seminars are known for packing an abundance of information into a few hours, so accompanying workbooks and audio cassettes of the seminars and workshops are available to help retailers reinforce what they have learned at each presentation. Many retailers use the tapes and workbooks for employee training when they are unable to attend the live presentations. So why use a consultant? As the trend toward building stronger, healthier, and more profitable business operations continues, more companies are hiring consultants. A consultant may be able to help you when you don't have or don't want to take the time to solve a problem, or when you don't have in-house expertise, when you're in a hurry for progress, when you need a different approach, or when you don't know how to fix what's wrong. A good consultant like Danny Wells knows how things work and has a problem-solving expertise. He has an unbiased perspective. As an outsider, he can often clearly see the problem. In fact, he has probably worked on your type of problem before. He can bring facts, analysis, and information you and your employees may not be able to provide. The consultant knows how to explore needs, set objectives, develop a plan, make recommendations, and provide training. A consultant can often handle issues you can't touch because of internal politics. He says what people inside the organization can't say. There are also things consultants shouldn't do. They should never manage your business for you, tell you where to position yourself in the marketplace, or direct your employees. A good consultant can bring new facts, analysis, and options, but you and your employees have the best instincts about what will work. In other words, you, not the consultant, are accountable if the strategy works or fails. A good consultant will work within the structure and involve employees in the solution, thereby strengthening the organization. Before hiring a consultant, a company must be committed to making changes. You must earnestly want to change and to invest the resources necessary to institute and sustain it. If you feel that a change is needed, your next step should be to define your company's needs. If you are like many natural food store owners, you may not fully understand the problem or know what needs fixing. You have only a vague notion that something isn't right. It's wise before you meet with a consultant to try and define the problem yourself, if you can. Put simply, a consultant can help you stop ignoring a thorny problem. A good consultant will insist you pay strict attention to the situation and get moving in the right direction. Most of the times, a consultant will save you money. Engaging one is more economical than hiring a new employee because the cost is only temporary. A good consultant drives hard to produce and finish the assignment. Often employees will tell consultants what they won't tell their bosses or supervisors. Since discussions are confidential, they know that their careers don't hinge on giving information to an outsider. A consultant's recommendations can test, sell, or reinforce your ideas. They can provide an experienced second opinion. Best of all, a consultant can take the bad news upstairs. He knows that the business leader needs the facts and has a responsibility to be a realist. Bottom line, a consultant can and should achieve measurable results. Good chemistry between you and your consultant is essential. You must have a candid, comfortable working relationship. So now that you know what one can do, is it time to bring a good consultant into your natural food store? For further information, contact Danny Wells & Associates, Weldon Enterprises Incorporated, P.O. Box 4568, Walnut Creek, California, 94596, area code 415-937-8391.